Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Toluwani Oyegunle. I am an I'm a product design engineer and an Autodesk approved instructor, and I'll be taking you in today's session to talk about the design interface of Fusion 360. We'll be looking at how to get Fusion 360 installed on your system. With me is my colleague, Mr. Ofonimi Alfred William, who will be taking you on the case studies and other aspects of product design and development. So follow me as we go on this interesting journey. All right. So we're looking at the Fusion 360 installation. We'll familiarize ourselves with the Fusion 360 interface. We would be doing case study on the FDM optimized battery charger. Then we look at other things as regards product design and development. So I'm going to take you through the step-by-step process of how you can install Fusion 360. I know a lot of us are new to this software and we don't really know much about it. We would find out much more than what we knew about Fusion 360. Some of us have learned how to use other CAD software. Some have learned about SolidWorks. Some have learned about CATIA and the likes. But Fusion 360 has a much more unique feature when it comes to product design and development, which we'll be talking about. But I want you to get certain things so that we can install this software on your system and we can get running already. All right, so all of us here are students, and I believe that we have our ID cards and emails ready. We should have been informed about this. So I'll just go through it step by step on how you would get your software installed on your laptop. So there is a link on your screen. Can you see this link on your screen? This one. Let me get my pointer out. This one here. If you can see it, just type it into your web browser, www.autodesk.com/eligibility. Just type it into your web browser. Once you do that, it will take you to the website. I will show you how it will look like, but then I want you to type this on your web browser. You can use Chrome or Microsoft Edge to do that. www.autodesk.com/eligibility. One last time, www.autodesk.com/eligibility. All right. So the other option, if you don't have a system that meets the requirements, is to use the browser version, which is to go to fusion.online.autodesk.com. But I believe majority of us will be using updated systems that are able to carry the Fusion 360 interface. So I'll move on to the next slide. So if you've entered this correctly, you should see something like this on your screen, on your laptop browser, your web browser. This is the landing page that you get to when you click on that link. You see this interface. This interface tells you you want to access the educational aspect of Autodesk product. Autodesk is the software service for Fusion 360. So you're going to get this. You click here on Get Started. Once you click on Get Started, it takes you to another page, which is this one here that you see on my right side of the screen. It asks you to sign in. Because we are first-time users, we are not going to be signing in. We will use this option to create accounts. Because you're a first-time user, you're going to click on Create Account. Once you've gotten to this page, just click on this, and it will take you to the next slide. Now this is meant to have come before this. So follow me. In this page, my right side of the screen, this particular part of the screen, after you click on Create Account, you are going to have your inputs, your names and your email details inputted into these boxes. Your first name, your last name, email address, and password. First name, your last name, your email address, your password. You input your email address twice for confirmation. You click on agree, create account. All right, so after doing that, you would see this pop up on your screen, accounts created. It means that you've successfully inputted your details. After doing that, you will receive a mail, your inbox. In your inbox, you receive a mail that you've successfully created your account. There's a link in that mail that tells you that you've created your account, and you now have to go back to where we started from to go on with your installation. Are we together? I want to get feedback. At least I should have. Are we together?
Yes, we can go ahead. I think
All right. All right. So going back to that link that I mentioned earlier on your web browser, when you go and click on it again, you will just scroll down. You will scroll down on from the top of the website down to this point where you would see these different application options. We have Tinkercad, Fusion 360, Revit, but you are going for this. You would click on this box that says Get Products. Just scroll down, you'll find it here. You cannot miss it for anything. Just click on Get Products. Once you've done that, it takes you to another side of the screen. Now, you should see a box that shows you where you select whether you are a student, you are an educator, you are a school IT administrator, or design competitor mentor. We are mostly students, and I'm sure there are also educators here. So whichever category you fall into, you select it here, and it gives you the option to choose which country you're from, choose which institution, whether it's a higher learning institution. Now we're talking about university now. So you select your school, you put the name of your school, university, you put the name, and you put your date of birth in all these boxes. Just input it accordingly. And once you're done, it takes you to another part of the screen. All right. I hope we're following. I need some feedback.
They are lost.
You're lost? Where have you gotten lost? Let me know. I can retrace my steps and get you back on track. Let me go back. Let me go back a bit. Is it from this part you got lost?
Yes, sir. No, from the beginning.
From the
My friend, go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. All right. So I just want to be sure that we were able to get up to this point. If you've gotten up to this part where it says get products, you shouldn't be lost. All you need to do is to follow the remaining steps, which is to input your details, your institution details, and your date of birth.
hello, Mr. Sam.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, I think I have a suggestion. Maybe we can give them 2 minutes or so
All right.
to
I think I'll
review
do
some of
that.
the ones you've listed already. Then on confirmation, we can continue to the next step.
All right, then. I'll just give 2 minutes to the class to catch up with what I've said so far and confirm if you've done so. Thank you, Mr. Afonso.
Welcome.
Have we been able to get this? Hello, sir, Mr. Felix.
Go ahead. So
All
just
right.
hold on, just hold on, just hold on, just hold on. I tell you.
Okay.
Just
All
hold
right.
on, just hold on. Now look up. That you are doing an instruction, another thing, you do what you choose to do. And if you do what you choose to do, don't call me to come and attend for you. So go back to the first slide about the URL. There's a basic URL that I give you, and it was spelled out already.
All right, I'll go back.
You are not that searching. That is a website. If you search website, you put it as website URL, and it take you straight to the page. Anything else we are doing, you are doing it. We take you straight to the page. You are not going to move to the next one. The next slide. Just move to the next slide. Now you are going to find yourself in this place. Oh, but you're going to find yourself in this place. Yes. So when you find yourself, you click on Get Started. It will take you to here, right? Right? Are we looking at the Take it to this one. I didn't you over there. You go to create accounts. Just so so what this one is I think you know to
So do I move on to the next slide?
Yes, move to the next. So they are supposed to create accounts, but to create accounts. And then you create your accounts. When you create account, you're supposed to see this, right? Yeah. Right. So So how are you there? So about this is right. So let's like this. So you now come back here. So you now come back here, right? That's the page where you were like, right? You know that there's a software below it, where you fully loaded, right? You now come to go back to that initial page, first page, but now scroll down. Instead of clicking on this something first, you now look at the products, right? Because but the first you have to do what confirm your email, right? When you create the account, go to your email and confirm your email address. Then you go back here. So, and when you confirm it, you're supposed to log in. If you don't log in, you log in. You're supposed to log in automatically. But if it's not logging automatically, log in so that your name, that name you fill in that form. We will say hi something, your first name, right? Then you now scroll down. That's the site, that's the page. You now scroll down, you're going to see Fusion. This Fusion that is pointing towards. You now click on get product. But getting products will not take you whether if you require extra documentation of it. If you require extra, that's where you do those things. If you don't require it, you are moving to do it. Altogether, how many features were out there? But we just put on this. And let's think we can get started. So are we yes? Have you confirmed the email? Have you found? Okay, one thing of I think I found the only visited the thing, so if they are the log for anything. Are you looking? But then you have to get it, you want to use the tax something, then you will do something. Because you did think that one is another document is what I maybe use in first. Or it's something. Please follow instruction. Don't want to use. By the way.
All right, so I believe we've been able to achieve the installation aspect. Once you're done inputting your details, you should get to this point where you input your valid student document. This can either be your updated results or your school confirmation acceptance letter or your ID card. When you've gotten those documents, you come here and you upload it in this box. Then you submit it. Once you are done, you receive a mail and you can get access to this product. You'll be able to access Fusion 360. It's after you select this that you can now be able to download your Fusion 360 using the educational license. We need to finish up with that as soon as possible because we want to have the interface taught afterwards. So I'll just give the next few minutes to allow us respond to what I just said. After that, I'll move on to the next thing. Please ensure that whatever you want to submit is clear enough for the system to recognize. Make sure you have clear pictures of all the documents I mentioned. It's either a student ID card, your results, or your school acceptance letter. Make sure they are clear enough. They are meant to be clear so that the system can recognize it and give you the access, and also make sure it is valid. That's the current session that you're in. If it's the ID card you are using.
What this leads to access is one way the access, which is the we can access the student. And beyond, what we do is some people without doing, what we call offline installation. Offline installation is like that if you all use backward, every single month, each one of it. Like just like the website. So whatever you're going to do, they're not following whatever. There are people who are adding to. We're here, we know there's anything part we need part of the class. Against the policy. And the doctor is giving this thing to me. I give you access to this. That the only people this system. Where you have to even bring it in the practice back. So this software, it's not even just the access to something. What the card is giving is just 20% for what the subject is. So what other this including cloud physics. And what we call cloud physics, there are things that you cannot have access, even with the best software, that you can now use the calculator to buy to have access for a month or something. Like the genetic design. You need calculator for every genetic design process you need to learn calculators. So with this thing, I cannot run genetic design because it's not permitted to cloud. It's not linked. Your teams and the rest of them that is all linked to cloud. You can't have access to it. So if you want to do whatever you want, I don't have issues with it. What's good. It doesn't make sense in this class and in something else. For us to apply and everything, be able to make sure this is available and you can get this access for your as a student in this school. It's more than enough for what you need. So
Is there anyone with a question there? Maybe I can address the question. Or is there anything that I need to repeat? So are they having difficulty signing into the Fusion app?
he said
Are they experiencing difficulty getting signed into this Diffusion app?
it's actually receiving, but just hold on. It's not to do.
Okay.
So to continue, we just continue.
All right, sir. All right, so I'll just need us to pay close attention to all that will be done now, because this is like the part that really is interesting. I know that it's a little bit challenging for some of us, but just pay attention. You will get it in no time. It really isn't difficult. All right, so what is Fusion 360? Fusion 360 is a product development package software that is integrated with several different tools. 3D CAD, what that means is computer aided design. CAM, what that means is computer aided manufacturing. CAE is computer aided engineering, and PCB means printed circuit board. And all of that is integrated in the software of Fusion 360. What makes Fusion 360 really interesting and unique is the fact that it's a cloud-based software, meaning that you can work from anywhere in the world. So far, you have your accounts. You can use it on any platform, any system. Just make sure your computer is connected to the cloud. And you can use it for several different functions. What we'll be teaching you today is the application of Fusion 360 for product design and development. It can be used in several different ways to make products, and you can collaborate with people around the world in teams. You can use it for manufacturing. You can use it in electronics. You can use it in several ways. I will show you how to navigate through the interface of Fusion 360 in the next slide. So now just look at this interface here. This is the typical interface of Fusion 360. And in this interface, there are several different functions. There are several different functions here. Just give me a minute. All right, so we have our data panel here over on the top left side of the screen. The data panel is the part where you find. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so can you just pause? Let's give us like 1 minute. Let's round up so that they can have give attention. Right? Just hold on. Hold on. So what is something? Don't be attention, like introducing you cannot be attention, you have to listen, right? So if you are having struggle or how trying to one by one is not so some people already I know you need to just get yourself to find stuff and just put your attention on this thing. because it's the software I want to use. That's the whole thing. So all these things you're talking about is like having the whole data, saying what is called, so you understand the user interface and how to interact with it. When you don't understand, you don't know, I can call you go tell that many, you don't know what happens. So it's not listed here. Right? So I want to really like, so this, I'm going to give us like a minute after then, just give your attention. You have any issues, I'll come to the person, right? So that you can have us. Just hold on, please. Install the room. You don't have to, you just know, but I'm thinking. It's going on as well. So one more thing. Yeah. Okay, so look, I'll go ahead. So now, please, as instruction, please, keep your list. I will take this, let us go on behavior because you are a dumb student. You are your mistake. You're hearing me. Don't disgrace us here. Please, just look at your screen. Okay, I don't know. Just type as if you are matter. But before that, you should just come and make some response. Because your attention should be on. So, Tolu, go ahead, please.
All right.
The mic is muted. Go ahead, okay.
So class, please pay attention. This is going to be interesting. Just trust me. So the first thing you see here, once you eventually install your Fusion 360 and you open it, you would see the interface. This is the Fusion 360 interface. And you see all these things numbered on your screen here. There are labels for you to properly understand how this interface works. I'll start with number 1 on the top left side of my screen is titled the data panel. In the data panel, you have access to teams, projects, and designs, and you can also manage design data and collaborate with others in different teams on this side, this data panel. So once we eventually start, you would see how that works. But this is just for you to know that right here in Fusion 360, like what I said earlier, you can have teams and different people from different parts of the world work online on the same design file on your team, in any project you want to do, right? So the next in number 2, that's the top side of my screen here. Let me get my pointer here, this top side of the screen. I hope you can see this is where you have your application bar, and in your application bar, you have several options starting from left to right. This is your file. In your file, you're able to create, open, upload, save, export your 3D file, or if you want to do 3D printing, you come here and you can access different options to help you, achieve what you want from your file, your 3D file, 3D design file. Then the next one here is to save icon, is to help you to save any changes that you make on your Fusion 360 in the process of design. The next is the left arrow, which is undo. We all know what that one means. And the right one here says redo. So the next after that is the design file itself. The design file has the title of what you are doing. Like you're seeing here, this is a design file itself that we're looking at, is an assembly version of a pump assembly. Is a pump assembly showing you that this file is titled multi-body version of pump assembly. Just to let you know, give an example, and we have this icon here, a plus icon, to create another tab or to create another design file. Then next after is the notification center. This is where you get any messages. Maybe there's an update from a team member, or probably there's an update from the software itself. You find it here. You have the next one here, which is the extensions. Extensions help you to add certain features to your workflow, and they can be third party, but then they are part of Fusion 360 as well. You would learn more about it if you need to, but we won't be touching much on that in this training. The next is job status. The job status basically helps you to manage your work, your design work. If you're working offline or you're working online, it's here that you switch between both modes. And the next after this is the help icon. You know what that means, to help you get information. If there's anything that you need, probably you need to know a method to use around the Fusion interface, or you need documentation, you come here to get that help in Fusion 360. Then the next is your profile. Here you can sign into Autodesk Fusion or sign out of Autodesk Fusion 360, and you can also manage your preferences, be it your settings. You want to arrange your Fusion interface to a certain manner, you come here to do that. That is for the profile. Now we have number 3 on the list, which is the toolbar. The toolbar is actually a space that contains your workspace. Please excuse me.
He's logged out. He's no longer on the.
That is not here.
Can you hear me now, everyone?
Hold on, sir.
They can't hear me. Oh. Can you hear me now, Mr.
Yes, we
Felix?
can hear you. But Mr. Felix is not on the call. He's logged out. Like he's not even on the call anymore.
Mr. Felix, you are not on the call on Teams, sir. Okay.
Thank you for that. The connection is coming. Talk now. Let me see that. Okay,
Voila.
I can hear you.
Tyra Powell. Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Aha, thank you very much. All right, let me go on. All right, so class, where I was, I think Mr. Felix mentioned that you were not hearing me for almost a minute. So let me go back to the second point, which is the application bar. I've gone over the file, the save, undo, redo, talk about the tab, the file type tab, talked about the notification, the plugin or extension. We've talked about this one is the job status, while the one on the right of it is the help icon to help you access any relevant information on the Fusion 360 software. The last on the right of it is your profile. Your profile has the function of helping you to modify your preferences. And if you want to also log in or out of Fusion 360, you can do so from here. Below the toolbar, the application bar, sorry, is the toolbar. And in the toolbar, you have your workspace, and you also have your tabs. On the right here, where you see my pen, is the workspace. This workspace has different types of functions. You can either be in the PCB electronic workspace, you can either be in the design workspace, or you can either be in the simulation workspace, depending on what you want to achieve. It's all in Fusion. But the truth is, once you come to the workspace and change it, all the tabs you see here changes automatically. They are contextual. They are based on the workspace that you want to work in. So here in this workspace, like you see in this example, is the design workspace, and all of these tabs are tools that you find in the workspace. Now, one thing you need to understand is that Fusion 360 has to be approached with a workflow mindset, meaning that anything you want to approach and use Fusion to do, you need to understand your workflow before you use the tools, right? So you want to design a product. What kind of product do you want to design? Or do you need to use the solid tool? Do you need to use the surface tool or the sheet metal tool? All of these things are things you need to ask yourself before you approach it. So you don't just come here and just try to click all the different tools and say how they work, and then you say you have designed. You know, that's not how to use Fusion 360. You need to first understand how you want to achieve your outputs. Then you come here. Each of these things, they are specific for it. Once you know what you want to do and you understand what these tools are meant for, you can achieve your output. All right, so like you see here, this is the Create tab. And this Create tab, you see different tools under the Create tab. And this is the Modify tab. And this is the Assembly, Construct. All of these are different tabs. They are tools under this workspace, right? So the next is the browser. Now, below this toolbar, we have our browser, which is the left side. You see here, you have several different things in this part. You know, when you are working in Fusion 360, it helps you to organize all the things you are doing in an assembly. Now, I mentioned earlier that this is an assembly. The title of this assembly is pump assembly, right? And in this assembly, all the things that were done, the activities that were done as regards the different components that were built, the different geometries, the different bodies, the sketches, the joints that were built in order to achieve this particular assembly, you see them well organized for you in the browser. So all these things here you see, they are helping you to separate and segregate all these things so that you don't get confused as a designer. Now you can see here something that looks like an eye. It helps you to switch on or switch off any feature or sketch or body on this assembly drawing, right? So that's just a summary on that. The next is the assembly itself. Now you see this area you're seeing here, it's meant to help you navigate. It's your canvas. It's where you draw, it's where you sketch, it's where you model. And the assembly here is it's a combination of different sketches, different bodies, different components put together. An assembly drawing is the overall file that you see in a 3D model. It contains all different components put together. Now, this is just an example. You might not have something this complex if you are starting for the first time, but this is just to let you know that this is your canvas area where the assembly drawing and every other kind of file you want to create comes to, right? So the next is number 6, which on the top right side, just below the toolbar, is here, which is the view cube. The view cube helps you to orbit your design and view it from different positions. So you can see here, if you look closely, you see front, right, what is here is top, and here is its bottom. And at the back, you also have left and side, the other side, that's the back side. So all these things are just basically to help you navigate through your file, your assembly file, your sketch in the canvas. You can use it to go look at it from different positions. So just assume you're looking at something from left, right, front, back, and bottom. You can do that with this view cube, right? So the seventh option here is the marking menu. The marking menu, if you right click on an open space on your canvas, you are able to access your marking menu. There are options that they change according to what you want to achieve, but they are commands, and they are used when you want to frequently access certain kinds of functions on your Fusion 360 interface. So you just right click common functions like pan, zoom, extrude, and other things. Those are things you find on your marking menu, right? Then the next is the navigation bar, which is below the just above the timeline. I'll get to the timeline very soon, but you see this in number 8 is the navigation bar. The navigation, oh, sorry, so sorry. The navigation bar contains the different aspects of view in your Fusion. You can use it to pan, you can use it to zoom, you can use it to orbit your design, and you can also use it to control appearance. If you want to change your appearance of the interface, you can do that in your navigation bar here. All of these things are possible. Then there's also look at function. Look at function is just to, like the name implies, look at your design, to just have a direct look when you are just trying to check out, see if there's everything, if everything is done orderly, right? So the next is number 9, beg your pardon, which is the timeline. That's the final part of the interface. Now, Fusion 360 has several modes, or let me just say 2 modes. The 2 modes of Fusion 360 is the parametric mode or the direct modeling mode. When we say parametric model mode, it talks about building things systematically as your operation is being carried out. Fusion 360 helps you to record a history of the operation as you are doing it real time. So all these things you see here from start to finish, you see there are things that are recording the processes that built up this assembly. Well, this can also only be possible if you are using parametric mode. But if you're not using parametric mode, if it's direct modeling mode or direct editing mode, you won't find any of these things here. They are not for direct editing. Direct editing is when you are just trying to design without using a parametric kind of function. Do you understand? So those are the kind of modes you find in Fusion. Then you can see, if you take a closer look, all of these things here, you can go back in time and edit something you've maybe forgot to do in your 3D workflow. And that's how powerful Fusion can be. It can really help you to gain more control in your design process. And I know that you can gain mastery over this if you can only take more time to spend on this Fusion 360 interface. Trust me, if you really enjoy the experience. So these are the 9 basic features in this Fusion software. All right, so I'll move on to the next slide, right? So like I mentioned, the navigation bar, we have the pan, zoom, scale, and all of that in Fusion. You can do that with your mouse. Basically, if you want to use Fusion, the best experience you can have is when you are using your mouse, an external mouse, not the haptic touch mouse that you have that comes with the laptop. It's when you have your external mouse, it gives you more power to navigate through your canvas. You have your 3 buttons. That's the right and the left mouse button and the middle mouse button. The scroll function to zoom in and out can be done with the middle mouse button. That's this one that you see here. And if you want to pan, you can also hold it down and move it around the screen. All that will be done in the practical aspect once we begin to explore the software proper. Then the final function here for the mouse if you want to orbit your screen, you use Shift, you press Shift key alongside the middle mouse button, you hold it down, and you can use it to move around the area of your canvas. And all this can be done also if you have MacBook. I know some people have that, right? So you can use your finger. This is just showing you how to go about it. If you are using two fingers to zoom in or zoom out, and also if you have to pan your view, you use your two fingers to slide across in a horizontal manner, right? So this is just a brief introduction about the Fusion interface.